And welcome back. You're joining us live here at the World Healthcare Congress in Washington, D.C. I'm Mabel Jong. Thanks for joining us. In the studio right now is John Doerr, chairman of Kleiner Perkins and the author of a new book called Measure What Matters. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, it is great always to hear what you have to say about the tech industry and everything that's going on at Silicon Valley. But now you have this book called Measure What Matters. What inspired you to put this down on paper?
Well, I came to Silicon Valley in the mid-'70s and was lucky to get a job working at a little chip company by the name of Intel for an amazing leader, Dr. Andy Grove, who's been said to be the best manager of his or any other era. And you know, in the chip business, thousands of people have to get millions of lines that are a millionth of a meter wide exactly right or nothing works. So Andy, in addition to being a great executive, was a superb teacher. He said to me, John, it almost doesn't matter what you know. It's execution that matters the most. And so he invented a system to get teams of people to do amazing things, stretch goals, called objectives and key results. And then I took his ideas for 20 or 30 years. Any place I saw a team that wanted to excel, it was kind of a slideshow, and I was a Willie Loman traveling salesman selling these ideas. And I always felt that I didn't do the subject justice. And so I'd try to write a book.
Yeah. Were you surprised by things that you found? Anything
well,
shocking to you?
The first thing that surprised me was how hard it is to write a book.
Yes.
So I resorted to a trick. 2/3 of the book is not written by me. It's stories in the words of Bill Gates or the founders of Google or entrepreneurs like Mike Long of the Lumeris company. And I didn't have to write those words. The other third are my lessons. Okay. But the best part of the stories, it's a dozen stories of how people set goals and struggle with them in healthcare, in nonprofits.
Okay.
And I think the system, I want to see it go beyond businesses to our families, our schools, even some healthcare systems.
Well, back to healthcare, you are here talking about different tech trends, different places where people are putting their money, thinking they're getting a great value. What do you think? What should healthcare organizations be investing in?
Well, there's at least 3 really powerful trends they should invest in, and they come in the form of advice. But the first is that you should run, don't walk, run to the web. And most of today's healthcare systems are in proprietary, closed data warehouses, silos, some people call them. I say what we've done is we've incarcerated the data. It's worse than trapped. It's in prison. And so we need to liberate that data. And then my second piece of advice is to adopt flexible payment models. Embrace those, because if you've liberated the data and then you have flexible ways to reward the system, then the entrepreneurs will take care of the rest. Medicare Advantage is an example of a risk-adjusted flexible payment model where a healthcare system can really earn rewards for delivering better quality and more economic care. My third piece of advice is to pay a lot more attention to the consumers. And we're seeing the beginnings of some really pioneering efforts by Apple and others to empower consumers. I said there's 4. My fourth and final point is I think we've transitioned through a period of time when AI was overhyped. Now I think it's actually underappreciated.
Okay.
And using AI in fields where we're doing image processing or recognition, pathology, radiology, that's going to be very important as a tool. But perhaps even more important are behind-the-scenes uses of machine learning to improve process flows.
Okay.
As Mike Long of Lumeris likes to say, the supply chain optimization.
Well, we've certainly seen radiology run with the AI offerings, but what about consumers? What do you think they're going to embrace? Is it moving fast enough, the technology, for them, or maybe too fast for them?
No, it's moving too slowly. You know, 5% of the searches on Google today are healthcare related. That's a remarkably large number.
Yes.
And generally, when you type in a disease or an area that you're interested in, you'll get back a medically qualified, certified knowledge card. And what we're going to see over time, I think, is increasing demands for patients to know not only that academic and clinical information, but to know about their own health information. So right now it's very hard for patients to know what something costs,
Sure.
or what's covered, or what the true state and prognosis is for their own health. And I think that's going to change rapidly over the next 5 years.
And what about a final word on how organizations should approach this? They're being thrown many different innovations. You guys are busy out there in Silicon Valley, but how should organizations approach the due diligence behind looking at technology?
So I think technology is only part of the answer. And if you're doing diligence on the technology, you're probably missing the larger point, which is how is this going to allow us to transform the system? How are we going to change behaviors so that we get the health care that God intended for us and we all want?
All right, John Doerr, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And thank you for stopping by with your book.
That's great. Measure what matters.
Good luck on the tour. I'm Mabel, Jong. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.